Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this live trading webinar today. I hope everyone is having a great day so far. And we just start 1 minute earlier. I see many people are joining us now, so that's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, our risk rewarding here. And to make sure that everyone understands that this content is for general information only and is not intended to provide trading or investment advice or any kind of personal recommendation. Excuse me. So let's get started with the news. And let's share the screen. So what's on today's top headlines? We have the New York Stock Exchange yesterday on Tuesday glitch causes enormous price in hundreds of stocks. Janet Yellen expects EV subsidy rules to prompt new trade deals. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen takes measures to ease debt ceiling woes. International paper strikes deal to divert Russian pulp business. U.S. poised to provide Abrams tanks to Ukraine. Turkey postpones talks to NATO, beat by Sweden and Finland. Tesla eyes 3.6 billion factory expansion, and Microsoft earnings fell last quarter amid economic concerns. As for the calendar, the forecast number for the inflation in Australia, it was 7.5% compared to the 7.3% that was previously, and the actual number came out even greater. Traders, if you have listened, if you have listened to the podcast on Monday or on Tuesday, you should understand the explanation I gave you about this event here and the explanation I have about the Canadian dollar and how, especially traders that are trading intraday in the Asian session, how you could take advantage of this situation. So, and well done, said from Darshan. Morning, Australian dollar strong since the early positive news, but pound is really battered. That's what it is. So this inflation number greater than the actual and it's greater than the forecast, the actual number is pushing the Australian dollar into more bullishness. And as Darshan spotted, that pound against the US dollar is really, really melting. It means that, can you guess what can happen to the GBP AUD currency pair? Can anyone tell me? If the Australian dollar is so strong and the pound is so weak, what could we expect to see on this pair? Do we expect it to push to the upside, or do we expect it to push to the downside? To the downside, down, down. Okay, everyone says down. At least the people there here on Zoom, our friends and traders from YouTube. What do you guys think? Down, of course. Yep. So let's anticipate that today's interest rates decision in Canada, 25 basis points to be increased. If this happens, and of course, if the currency will follow through, we do expect a strong Canadian dollar, and we do expect, for example, the USD against the CAD as it has room to move until the next level of support, we do expect it to push down. Yes, guys, now I realize that it has some sort of delay, the voice and the picture from the Zoom. I don't know why, but it comes with a bit delay. So now I can see all your answers. But under no circumstances, ladies and gentlemen, when we have the Canadian dollar will get strengthened, and as we see the Australian dollar is very strong, there is no reason, we don't have any reason to go to the Aussie against the CAD and start looking to buy. There are two very strong potentially currency pairs, and we want to avoid this kind of trade. So I would like you to start thinking in terms of, because let's be honest, when you do some 4-hour trading, 1-hour trading, and daily charts, you really need to pay close attention to this type of correlations within the day or within the few days. For example, we do anticipate the Australian dollar to be strong until the next level of resistance. By the way, does anyone see my screen on the charts? Or it's... Guys, do you see the charts? What screen do you see now? Empty news. Why? I thought I already shared the MT5. Okay, here it is. What about now? Do you guys see the MT5? Yes, MT5. Okay, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's start with the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar today. So we see that it's in an uptrend, okay? On the daily chart though, we have this level of resistance. If we look at the left, we'll see this level of resistance. So why should I start trading to the upside if I'm not in any trade in this currency pair, right? As we said, Australian dollar, yes, it performs with too much bullishness. Canadian dollar, we have interest rates in some hours during the New York session. And if Canadian dollar will get strong, maybe we can see some sort of consolidation here. So what can we do? We can forget to do intraday trading and all this stuff with the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar if you hadn't planned to do it. And let's move to a weak currency pair. As we spotted that the pound, it's weak in general compared to the euro, for example. You guys see that pound yesterday, pound currently it's at the resistance, right? Everyone can see that. And yesterday we had that minor pull. Now it's more, it's simpler to use this currency against the Australian dollar and build up some trading activities, or the Australian dollar against the US dollar. Definitely. You see, from a few days ago, we said that we are in this uptrend. We wait for some sort of pullback around here. And if the price, it's gonna push to the upside, the next level of resistance, it's this one here. If we're gonna break above this level today and we're gonna close above this level, then definitely the next level, it's this one here. Correct? I think everyone can see them. We just look at the left and we see where the price reverse and for a long time so far. So this one here, it was from June 2022. So it's been 6 months. What about the pound? What about the pound against the Australian dollar? This is the pound Oz. We mentioned yesterday and 2 days ago, someone asked me, so after this bearish inside candle, what do we do? And I said, we are in the middle of a trading range. This is a trading range. It's a consolidation. There is no direction. There is no clear direction here. So we expected that the market it's gonna it can break to either way, either to the upside or to the downside. Yes, Darshan, correct. Pound was the trade, giving 200 pip for to drop. Yes, Kyla, we avoid that type of correlation. Are you talking about which correlation? The Aussie against the Canadian dollar? That's the one you are talking about. We said we don't trade the Aussie against the Canadian dollar, but we spotted that the pound is very weak and the Australian dollar. Yes, we not trade the Canadian dollar, US dollar. We said we're going to avoid this one for today. We don't need to go and get involved with that one, regardless if the Australian dollar will outperform the Canadian dollar. We don't know that, regardless of this. Anyhow, it's in an uptrend, but better to avoid this, especially for intraday trading today, due to a very strong Australian dollar. If the Canadian dollar will get strengthened later on this afternoon, then there is no point to try and squeeze trades for between these two. Better we focus on the pound Australian dollar, for example, that gave us a clear break to the downside now. And okay, of course, unless this is going to reverse and leave us with a hammer, but on the 4-hour chart, for example, we have more than 2 strong closes below this support. This support is very important. It's very strong for the market because we see in the recent price move, it retested quite well and it broke. Now we will wait for some sort of pullback and we will take advantage of the price to the downside. Now, and note this down, please. When we have a consolidation break, we can measure from the bottom to the top. It's about 700 pips, and we can forecast 700 pips. We are somewhere here, and that's our target. Now, to trade it to the downside, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you find some relevant swings on the lower time frames or on the daily chart. We wait for a swing, for a retest, and then we can trade it to the downside. Now is good for the market that gave us the clear direction, that gave us the direction that it wants to go, and so we just wait patiently to trade to this direction. Now, if we go on the 15-minute chart or on the 5-minute chart, I will definitely suggest you guys to use the pivot if you trade on the 5-minute chart or 15-minute chart, just for another validation of your entries. Another one, the euro against the Australian dollar. Remember that we talked about this some time ago, and we said that this can end up as a head and shoulder. It looks like it has some head produced above this left and right swings, so we can say that this is a head and shoulder pattern. The neckline is slightly pointing upwards, and that's a great. So we just want the price to move down, and on the retest, we are good to go to the downside. Yes, on intraday pound Aussie. And guys, you use daily pivots. For traders, they are using the pivot points. You use the daily pivot points to trade on the 5 minutes and on the 15-minute chart. If you are trading on the 1-hour, 4-hour charts or 30-minute charts, I suggest to use maybe the weekly pivot points. All right, but by default on our MT5, I think is the Admirals, they give us the daily pivot point. So you can use them. So for the Australian dollar, note this down, write it in your watch list. We do have some clarity, and the technical picture and the fundamental picture confirm each other. I'm waiting for this. Of course, it's going to take maybe 2-3 days, maybe next week we're going to see some retracement, but anyhow, we expect to see some retracement. When we see the retracement, we will try to get into the short size of this market. Guys, do you have any currency pairs in your watch list? What about the gold? It's still in this uptrend. I have the target at 2,000 here, to be honest. It's been a while. I have it here at the 2,000 because it's the previous resistance and it's a round number. So we have this area of support. The market oh my God, just bear with me, guys. Sometimes it's a bit difficult with MT5. Okay, so gold, it's just pushing higher and higher and higher. We find some sort of struggle here for the buyers to keep pushing. So we do expect some retracement. I don't know when the retracement will come, but definitely I do expect this retracement. And we will wait and see what's going to happen. For any other currency pair, guys, please let me know, or I will start talking a bit about the pivot points, because maybe in very soon I will start doing some intraday sessions exclusively during the London Open for the FTSE and the DAX, and we're going to trade only pivot points, only intraday. So please let me know if you need any other currency pair. I will tell you about the USD Canadian dollar, and then we're going to move on. So this one here, for me, it's still bearish. We had this very tricky retracement. So the market is selling off. For me, it still have room to move to the downside. The move is not over yet. I see the market coming all the way here, and I believe that the news today, if they gonna favorable the Canadian dollar, and if the market will follow through, then the currency can push all the way to the down and at least reaches this level, if not break them. Dow Jones and Nasdaq, yes, and USD JPY. USD JPY still in this downtrend. We do wait for some sell-off. If some traders, they believe that this is a good area to sell, I will definitely suggest it that our stop loss has to be above the previous swing here because of the weakness of the Japanese yen across the rest of the currencies. For me, maybe I will just wait with some sell limit orders around this area here because I kind of like this area. And we'll see what's going to happen. In regards to the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq, yesterday successively we tried to make another push to the upside, and we do expect, look, with US dollar weakness, we do expect the indices to push to the upside. Now, both of them, they create a higher close, let's say a higher close, but they didn't succeeded to close above the previous day's high. And that's what concerns me. If the price was creating a new high and a new higher close like it did it on Monday, then that will be a very good intraday play to start and looking for more buys. But because it put a very weak high here, maybe we're going to see some retracement. Although then we acknowledge that we are still in this range, okay, but we saw so far the price comes all the way here and reaches this area, and now as we approaching the 200 moving average, maybe they would like to see the market retesting this area at the top, this resistance. So maybe we're going to have a temporary pull, and we can see some more push at least until here. But for today, for intraday trading, I wouldn't do anything, at least in this London session. I will wait for the New York session for the Dow Jones, for the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500. But based on the candlestick patterns, ladies and gentlemen, this is an inside. This is an inside candle. This is like a hanging man, and a hanging man in the uptrend, it's a reversal signal. Now, it may not be a reversal for the trend, but for the major trend, but maybe temporarily can pause the move of the buyers. Intraday London, let's have a look here. So how do I use the pivots? What am I looking for in the pivots, and how do I trade them? First, we add them from our chart. Then I go to the daily chart and I see first the big picture, but because I trade the pivots on the 5-minute chart, I put only as much weight to the recent price action. Let's say I can see here that the price stalled around. We have some rejection here, so this low test at this level here, maybe it can have also some push to the still have some force for some bullishness to come. And again, guys, sometimes the signals are not clear at all, like this one here. Sometimes are very clear. Or if we check the FTSE, these are the two indices I look during the London Open. And sorry, I'm checking something. So yesterday we had these rejections here at the bottom. So today, at the least at the London, I will look for some buys on the 5-minute chart for this one here, the FTSE. So what am I doing? Then I go straight down to the 5-minute chart. I zoom out quite well, and I want to see the price. You see, that was the beginning of the day. Now the price double bottom here, and it's gradually moved higher. I would like to see the price closing above the pivot point, and if it closes above the pivot point, after, not now, but at 10 o'clock, 10:05, I will wait for the market to open. I will wait for 10:05 at the least for the first candle to close, because sometimes it goes like this and then it falls break, and then that's your trade. That's our trade, the false break. Okay. Again, it's not that clear the daily direction, but because we are speculating on an impulse move, on a strong price move, we want to Yes, Cyprus time, 10:05 Cyprus time. Sorry, guys, or 8:05 London time, GMT time. Okay, it's 10:05 brokers time or 8:05 GMT time. So that's what I'm looking for in both occasions. Sometimes the daily chart, yes, someone asked what about if the daily it's not that clear like now. We can go to the 4-hour chart. Can we? Definitely we can go to the 4-hour charts. For the 4-hour charts, we see that again it's not very clear. The price it's still below on the intraday level, it's still below the main pivot line. And let's check the FTSE as well. 4-hour chart. Price, it's also below the 50 moving average. So the FTSE is trying to break up to the upside. Now, maybe it's going to be a false breakout. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. We have another 4 minutes before we end the session. And we can see if we have a clarity here, at least before we leave. I will try from February. I will see how we're going to arrange the times with the webinars. And maybe I'm going to have another 5-10 minutes until 8:10 a.m. London time to keep an eye on this FTSE and on the DAX. Maybe we can find some trading opportunities here. But as for now, so we are waiting. The price is between the pivot line and the S1, and it's something that I don't want to trade this type of activity. I want to see either above the pivot line if I want to buy, or below the pivot line if I want to sell. And that's the most important, guys, when you are trading the pivots. Okay, when the price on the 5-minute chart creates higher highs above the main pivot line, and your daily support that you are bullish, then it's the right time to trade the 5-minute chart. It's very, very important for intraday traders to use this pivot line correctly. Okay, not just to have them on the charts, but also to use them correctly. So if we want to, again, many false breaks out, they happen around this time and 8:05 GMT time, so better to wait. We have another couple of minutes before I have to end this webinar. So what I would like to see again, if I decided that on the daily chart I'm bullish with FTSE, then I would like to see a price to close above the main pivot line, something like this, and our trend line may be here, or our EMA will be here as well. Maybe some fib retracement, but it's a right time to buy, and I would like to initiate some trade here and go for 2-to-1 at least, if not 3-to-1, if you feel more comfortable with 2-to-1, and that's it. But by the time the price touches the R1, most likely we're going to have some reaction. So I wouldn't like to be in any trade. So I would like to take my 2-to-1 at least, if not 3-to-1, by the time the price it's going to approach the resistance or the support, depends on the direction. Let's check the DAX. So for those who are going to be around in the next 20-30 minutes. You can also use the Telegram channel, and you can comment. You can send some screenshot there if you want. I'll be around, so I can see, I can reply. You can send the screenshots below the live trading announcement we have on the Telegram, and we can have a chat there. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a privilege and honor to host this webinar for you today. Thank you so much. Time is pressing us. I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much.